It's green for go. They're racing. He says go. He says ta-da. And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn. Here comes another big boil over. Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more. This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode. She is a star with a capital S. It's going to be a triple treat. A miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that? It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello, it is that time of the week. It's time for the Sunday session. My name is Greg Hayes and it is great to have your company for another edition of the podcast. Of course, here for Harness Racing New South Wales, and it's all part of the Sprint Lane series. Great to be with you again this week. The TAB Regional Championships, the finals, they take centre stage this week. 4 finals run in the 4 main centres of the sport in the state. The Central West District final was run at Bathurst on Wednesday night and was won by Glitter Rain Gold for the father and son combination of Nathan and Jet Turnbull. Only a 4-year-old, Glitter Ain't Gold, who's on the way up, and the pictures on social media after the win just go to show this industry is built on families, and nothing better to see Jet drive a $100,000 winner for his dad. The Riverina final was run on Friday. Great story, this one, with Bruce Harpley training the Quinella. He drove the second one need be. Cam Hart made the trip down to drive Ticker-Lock. Ticker-Lock has been set for this series for a little while, and Bruce had her prep to run a super race. Uncanny, this knack that Bruce has with fillies and mares. Obviously, Frith was the star of the stable going back a few years ago now, but both of his runners on Friday were mares, and of course now they head towards the championship final, the state final, at Menangle next Saturday night. The Hunter final was won by Jared Hetherington and Chloe Formosa with Rock Fisherman, a horse that earned the biggest check of its career. It's been a super money spinner for connections throughout. It's now won nearly $280,000 in stakes, 182 starts to go with all of that prize money, and is just a great advertisement for the toughness of the standard breed. Yeah, sure, the breed is faster than it was 25, 30 years ago, but the durability of the pacer and the trotter is still a great selling point with horses able to race week in and week out. On Saturday night, we saw the Metropolitan final with David and Brad Hewitt combining to win with Horn Player. 12 months ago, it was Brad driving for David when Extreme C won, but this time around, Brad's in Sweden for the Elite Lop, so David took the reins and the pair combined for another big race win. Must give BK a rap with his calling. Fred was off on Saturday night celebrating his wife's big birthday, so as a result, BK called 3 of the 4 regional finals. Matt Jones called the Riverina, but I thought BK's nailed the concluding stages in all of his races, in all of the finals. It was very good. The Group 1 Trotters Derby was won again by a filly. Last year it was Kiang Zahara beating the boys, and this year it was Gatesy's Gem. She was very good in the Oaks and proved way too strong again this week. Well done to Glenn Hunter, the trainer, and of course Luke McCarthy, who drove the winner again. Who's on the podcast this week? Well, I spoke with Luke McCarthy and Brad Hewitt on the podcast last week, and obviously like to share it around, so I thought I would go to the country and catch up with the trainers of the regional winners. Bruce Harpley, one of my favourite people to interview, spoke with him after he won the June Cup. He was still dealing with the consequences of a big celebration on that occasion. I'll speak with Bruce today. Jared Hetherington will join me to have a chat about Rock Fisherman. I wonder whether Jared's feeling the effects after that, similar to what Bruce was after Bruce won the June Cup. I think Jared's had a pretty big celebration after the win of Rock Fisherman, owned by his wife Sally. I reckon it was a pretty big party, and I'll catch up with him after the victory and find out about his plans for next week at Menangle. And Nathan Turnbull is racing at West Wyalong today, but I'll try and squeeze in a chat with him about Glitter Ain't Gold. I think celebrating the win with his son would have been a pretty special moment, so I'm looking forward to speaking with Nathan. Mr. T will be back at the end of the podcast with his tips. We both found winners this week. His was a little bit bigger than mine, unfortunately, and there isn't long until autumn's over, so I'll update the leaderboard in our tipping challenge, and I'll give a quick wrap on fantasy harness racing before I close the podcast for the week. A lot to get through, but first up, I'm going to speak with Nathan Turnbull.
450 metres left to go. Third section was Semiford in 28 and 2. Glitter Ain't Gold tries to leave the field. Rebounder's going to follow him into the race. Novanta Rising's trying to work away from cover, and now Art of Terror gets going, but Glitter Ain't Gold, he just kicks into overdrive now. 175 metres left to go, and he quickly put up a big space on them. Rebounder stays on for second with Novanta Rising and Art of Terror, but Nathan and Jet Turnbull, a father and son listed classic. It's your moment. moment.
Well, the regional finals being run right across New South Wales. The first of them was run out in the Central West at Bathurst last Wednesday, and Glitter Ain't Gold for Jet and Nathan Turnbull. I reckon that would have been a pretty special victory for Nathan, watching Jet drive the horse to victory in a $100,000 race. Nathan's joining me to have a chat. Hey, Nath, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No problems at all. How was that, watching Jet drive a $100,000 winner for you?
Yeah, it was obviously very, very special. All the family were there, and you've won nice races and that before, but that was probably up there with the best of them.
You know, can you remember some of the big victories you've had with your dad when you were driving for him?
Yeah, and I never really sort of drove too many big ones for Dad like that. He was sort of still the man when I was starting off like Jet is. So probably didn't really get the opportunities that I've given Jet. But obviously every race we win special. But this one the other night was pretty up there. Going
into the race, the horse was impressive in the heat, but I guess until you get through the final, you're always there waiting with bated breath. So going into the race, were you expecting a performance like that?
Just on his work after his first start, I thought it'd take a pretty special one to beat him. We sort of would have loved to have given him a race start before the heats, but being a 69 rater, we had to sort of just give him 3 solid trials leading into it because, you go into a race and he's pretty special. So we just thought, you only get yourself in strife trying to, not get him and win a race somewhere. So we just went for the easy option and 3 solid trials. And his first run was super. He just had a nice sit and hit the line hard and with his earplug still in. So as much as it was, pretty solid times and that, it was just a good first start back. And then, like I said, his work in between that run and the final went to the next level. So I knew he was pretty spot on.
So he last raced in October, then you put him out for a spell. When do you say I'm going to set him for this series? Like straight after that Breeders' Challenge? Is that how far back you were thinking about this $100,000 series?
Yeah, it was the owner, Dale Smith, that sort of put it in me, the back of my mind. He said he's the sort of horse, you could bring back to the regionals. And I sort of thought, yeah, well, we'll loosely aim at it. And if he comes back good enough, we'll go in it. If not, we'll just pick off some, small fish along the way or whatever. But halfway up, I just thought, he sort of went to the next level from a 3-year-old. And, yeah, we sort of loosely based his whole campaign on it for sure.
Physically, has he grown into himself, or has he always been a nice type?
He's always been a beautiful horse to do anything with. He was a little bit funny in his gait and stuff as a 3-year-old, and out of the gate you couldn't use him because he went up in the air a couple of times. But he really has matured a lot, and we're burning him out of the gate a bit more now and stuff like that. Even his last start as a 3-year-old, he got it all wrong in the Breeders' Challenge final and galloped out the back. So, but he seems to have matured a lot more, and touch wood anyway, he seems a lot more tractable in his gear, and you can press the button at any stage of the race now.
State final over the 2300 at Menangle. Will that pose a problem for him? He's obviously had the 2 runs back over the distance, and he seems to run it right out.
Yeah, no dramas there. He, like you said, he's had the 2 starts back at Bathurst over the same distance, and he proved the other night that he's on top of his game, probably, ripping home in 27 something after doing all the work out in front and, run every quarter under 30. So, yeah, that's no drama at all.
And then what are the plans after next weekend? Like, it's the start of his prep. It looks like you're going to have some fun with him this time in.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, we really only loosely based this sort of series to start with. And, the way he's come through it, well, he's proved he's pretty exciting. So we'll just keep plucking them off as they come along. And, you as a 4-year-old, you sort of got a lot of rich races we can sort of go in. There's, you got the Rising Sun in Queensland if we think he was up to it. And then, who knows if he's absolutely flying at that time of the year. You got the Eureka because he's got Aussie bred horse. So it's exciting times for sure.
So you've had a nice 3-4-year-old through the barn recently? Like, are you thinking races of that, like the Eureka? Are you thinking that he can get there if he continues to develop?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, for what he's done 2 starts back as a 4-year-old, couldn't be sort of too much more impressive. I know it's only been at Bathurst, and a lot more, questions will be answered over the next month or so. But at this stage, it's just really got to contain our excitement, really, and think, who knows when the time comes around.
And what about Jet's development? You happy with how everything's going with him? He just continues to get better and better every time he goes around. Yeah,
for sure. He's been amazing to watch, really. We knew he had something pretty special. He lives briefly, as we've told you time and time again, but he just keeps going to the next level. And the other night, he was cool as a cucumber. He does a lot of work with this horse, so he had a lot of faith in him and drove him accordingly. He just jumped to the front and ran even quarters to keep everyone happy and no one coming up, taking him on, and kicked away when he needed to. So for someone his age to be that cool, calm and collected in a $100,000 race like that, he's got maturity beyond his years for sure.
You're still doing a bit of driving, but not as much as you were. Are you missing it?
I do love getting out there, but the 2 boys I got working for me, Jet and young Jai Carney, they're both in the top 5 in New South Wales, and they're 1-2 in the junior drivers. So it makes my job a lot easier to not drive for sure and just concentrate on the training. And I'm back doing all the work at the trots now, like the old days.
And the 2 boys, it's obviously tough when you've got 2 of the top drivers in the state in the one stable, sort of fighting for drives. But they are very good mates, aren't they, off the track?
Yeah, best of mates. They do they work. We work together every day of the week, 24/7, and when we don't work, they're off doing something stupid together. And we just got to. I don't know, it'll be interesting when they turn 18 to see how they go, going to the pub and stuff. But no, it's easy at this stage. But no, they really are good mates, and they're both mature beyond their years, like I just said, really. And there's no fights over drives and that. They're both competent on the chin if I have to use one or the other and stuff like that. And the boys are getting a lot of support from outside trainers, and they have their stables they like to stick to, and then so the other one will jump on mine, so it's really working well.
Well, mate, you're handling it all very well too. You've got winner after winner coming through the stable, so congratulations with the big win last Wednesday night, and good luck in the state final next Saturday.
Thanks, Hazy, appreciate it.
Rock Fisherman won't shirk the task. On the outside, Ashley's Blue Chip seems to have come to the end of its run. Night to Remember, Spirit King. Cool Night still got a lot of work to do. 175 to go. Leader trying to hold them all off his Little Demon. Here comes Rock Fisherman launching its assault and back to the inside. Night to Remember. Little Demon and Rock Fisherman having a wonderful battle, but it's the Fisherman that wins the Hunter final. Rock Fisherman too good for Little Demon. Third tight.
This is another great story. A horse that has had in excess of 180 starts and picks up the biggest check of its career and has now won best part of $280,000. Rock Fisherman winning the $100,000 final at the Hunter on Friday. Jared Hetherington is the trainer, and he's joining me to have a chat. Hey, Jared, how are you?
Good, thanks, Greg, and yourself?
Mate, really well. Congratulations on the victory. That would have been a career highlight.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was very pleasing for both myself and my family. So, yeah, very happy, thanks.
Let's have a chat about the horse. He's been around the stable for a couple of years, but just keeps on going around week in, week out and picking up prize money.
Yeah, he's getting a bit older and that now, and we've found that just keep racing him and what have you with no spells. And just the last probably month to 6 weeks, we've really found a way to work him and keep him happy, and it's showing.
So being an older horse, does he have little issues that you got to manage as a result of the starts that he's had?
He does have some minimal little ailments, but just like anything, there's a bit of age on it. Keep your pain down as much as you can, and just look after his joints.
So this series, how long had you had your eye on the series?
Brad Elder drove him there a little while ago, and he ran second to Ashley's Blue Chip. I think, and Brad said, look, you need to target this race, and I thought, it's a bit out of our league. And then Mick Formosa drove him at Newcastle as well and suggested it. So that's probably about a month prior to the series, we really knuckled down and targeted it.
So then it goes out in the heat and drew the inside of the second row and went round as at double figure odds. Did you give the horse a chance in the heat?
Yeah, we had a decent nibble each way. We thought the draw was very good for him and what have you, but then he got shuffled back to near last and copped the check, and I think he was about third last in the home term, but still rallied and got the job done. So it gave us a lot more confidence heading into the final, and then when we drew two, we were very confident.
So once the barrier draw came out, you thought this we're a live chance here in a $100,000 race.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think. It was a bit surreal, I suppose. But we were very confident, and we just kept talking to Chloe through the week, and we just made sure that there was no pressure on us, and we played it that the pressure was on everyone else.
So, what were the pre-race instructions to Chloe? Get to the pegs.
We did speak about it. Like, we knew if we did light him up, we had the speed to lead and hold. But the way we've been driving him lately, we felt it was better to drive with cover. We actually thought that we'd sit in the running line and possibly get the 1-1. Then in the end, he just took himself to the front, and once the horse crossed, we just needed a little bit of luck.
So how are you feeling with 500 metres to go? Like, were you getting pretty excited?
Probably when the horse dropped that 27.7 and, this fella takes just a little bit to wind up, I looked at a mate and I said, we'll run a nice second here, which we would have been happy with. And then straightening for home, and when Chloe peeled out, just sort of had the confidence that he was going to get the job done, and he did, and Chloe just drives him so confidently.
And then when you won the race, like, what was the emotion like?
I don't really know. I couldn't describe. I didn't know whether to cry, to cheer, or what. But probably the more the few beers went down, the more excited we got, mate.
And so, by the sounds, it was a pretty big celebration after the win.
Yeah, it was. 48 now, so can't handle it the best. But anyway, we've got a little while to get over it now.
So plans, obviously, we see him at Menangle next week.
Yeah, we will. I was going to leave him down there with Mick Formosa after the race the other night, once we won it. But with the rain they're going to get, we decided it was better to bring him home to make sure we could get some work into him. And we'll probably head down Friday, or might even see if Mick can take him home on Thursday from Tamworth, just to break. It's a 7-hour trip, so if we can break it up a bit earlier, it'll help him.
And you haven't been afraid to target those Waratahs series. So he knows Menangle.
Yeah, no. We've had him in a couple of Waratah finals, and a few other horses have made the finals and that. So yeah, I think he'll do his best. Whether he's up to it, we'll find out on Saturday.
Yeah, no, mate. These whole regional championships, this is what it's all about. Like big race, big money. And seeing the country guys win it is fantastic.
I think it's a great concept by Harness Racing New South Wales, and it just gives everyone a chance to have a crack at things like that. And talking to people, they were telling me that people have run second over the last couple of years and the money they've got out of it and what have you. And I just think it's a great concept, and I hope they continue it.
So who owns this one? Sally owns this one?
Yeah, my wife Sally.
So that must be. That makes it even better. All the money stays at home.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much of it I'll see, but anyway, we'll have to have some discussions about that.
So where did the horse come from originally? Because it started its career at the Hewitts.
Yeah, he's pretty much been with Burn his whole time. I think he had some stint with Jam up in Queensland and that, but apart from that, I think he's pretty much been a Burn horse. Gary Thorncraft and Ross Higgins owned him originally, and I think Wayne bought Rock Fisherman and Always Bobbing off of them, and eventually both of them horses have ended up here with us. So I just can't thank Wayne and Julie enough. They're great people, and they've always got a couple of horses with us, and everything they put into the industry, and it's pleasing when they get a good horse. Well,
mate, it was great to see that victory on Friday at Newcastle, and we wish you all the best of luck at Menangle next week.
Good on you, Hazy. Thank you very much.
Audacious goes up strongly. Alta Williams going to need to lift, but it's Darren Hancock and Miss Audacious getting the front. Now Cam Hart gets away from the inside with Tickerlock as they turn for home, but it's Miss Audacious. Tickerlock gets into the clear, gives chase, starts to sprint. Then I'm Dusty, further back Need Be and Cortez, but it's Tickerlock. Running on now is Need Be, who's coming home swiftly. It's Tickerlock in front for Cam Hart. Tickerlock in front. It's going to be a Harpley Quinella, and Tickerlock beats Need Be. Bruce Harpley was wrapped. He ran second, but he's got the Quinella.
I love catching up with this bloke, especially after he's won a big race. Bruce Harpley, he not only won the TAB Regional Championship final at the Riverina on Friday, he Quinella'd it. He didn't drive the winner, but he knew that he'd won the race, and there was a nice salute in running second on Need Be. But Tickerlock, fantastic story, fantastic series, and Bruce Harpley's joining me to have a chat. Hello, Bruce, how are you?
Good, mate. Thanks for the chat, Greg.
Mate, great story. Run 1-2 in a $100,000 race in the Riverina, and you're there driving the second horse, but you can obviously see Tickerlock win the race.
Yeah. Well, that's right. I'd seen her twice in the run. I think I knew where she was twice, but then obviously the concentration on my own horse took over then, and it wasn't when mine started to run into it a bit, and I thought, I don't know where you are. I don't know where Tickerlock is. And then I seen her burst to the lead, and mine started coming after it. And, the Euphoria took over very quickly in the last 50 metres when I realised she had it and I was going to run second.
Going to the races on Friday, that would have been a dream, wouldn't it? To say, I'm going into a $100,000 race, I'm going to run 1-2?
Oh, it's funny you say that. Obviously, I had dreamt that Tickerlock could win it. And this is a true story too. Like, I actually dreamt once that, like in this last week, that I Quinella'd it, and I said to myself, "Don't be an idiot. You can have the first dream, but you can't have the second dream. That's how you just been greedy."
Mate, fantastic story. Tickerlock, of course, we spoke after Tickerlock won your dad's race, wasn't it? At Junee?
Yeah, Junee.
Yeah,
yep, that's correct.
And then what? Basically, Tickerlock's target became this series.
Yeah, pretty much. After that, we started in a better race at Albury, and she was a bit unlucky there, and only just got beaten. And and then we were sort of around that 70 mark rating, and I said to the owner then, I said, I know it's 3 months away, but I said, I think we've got to be fair dinkum here. We've got to have a go, because this series, this is what it's all about. Like, you can dream to have a runner in a $100,000 race. Everyone can. That's been the greatest initiative from Harness Racing New South Wales, and COVID probably helped it a little bit to get it in the state that it is now. And as I said, every Joe Blow has got a dream to be competitive in their local area and win a $100,000 race. And certainly, that was the case. As I said, not many things go to plan when it comes to horses, but this one worked out perfect. And even Need Be, like I said, we had sort of 4 horses that I was thinking about 10 months ago, basically. Might be able to go in it, and 2 of them one went amiss, and one was ineligible, and then Need Be come along, and I liked the way she was improving, and because it's your local area and you haven't got to travel, and she's on the improve, you go, well, why not give it a go? And it was a dream, all right, mate, I can tell you.
We'll come back to Tickerlock in a moment. I just want to talk about the drive on Need Be. There was obviously that shuffle up with a lap to go, and you went back to the pegs, and all of a sudden, when things started to move around you and you went in under thalassophobia, I'm thinking, gee, Bruce is travelling all right here.
Yeah, that's right. I sort of thought I wouldn't get the luck that I needed at the start. We worked out that it's going to be a miracle if I'd be able to drop in, and I couldn't, and I had to go back to last basically. And then I was 6 back fence, and I actually thought to myself then, obviously Jake Stockton's horse on the outside, Miss Audacious, I thought, maybe it might cart me in, because what have I got to lose? I'm thinking to myself, she's more a stay-in type than a high-speed horse. And I was a bit lucky in one way, because I was just coming out on a Miss Audacious when the shuffle-up happened up front. And when I seen the 4 back fence, because I knew the 3 on the fence was three of the 4 favourites were 1, 2, 3 on the fence. And I went, that'll do me fine, thanks. And then down the back, I could see Jacko's horse wasn't travelling 100% even. I thought, well, I'm going to be able to get out when I have to. Meanwhile, we'll just keep sucking there and hoping we can run into it late.
Yeah, it was, and then, let down really well. And what was the margin in the end? Less than 4 metres. So Needby's run out of its skin.
It has indeed. It's been a great story. Virtually his best mate and Stanley Headland owned her, and he bought her at the Euroby sale a while back, and she was a lazy type, and he was bringing her in here working her with me, and then he hurt his leg in a bit of a accident at home and on the farm, and I said, just send her in here, and because you can see that she just needed a change in scenery. She'd become sort of dope, and I put her in with a nasty horse that kept her on her toes and out in the paddock, and she just kept improving. She just kept improving, and she really put the writing on the wall. She won by 15 at Wagga one day and went 155.9, which was actually quicker than the final last year, and done it so easy, and would have went a second quicker. I said to Sam, I think she would have broke 55 today. I said, we need to set up this race. He goes, you're dreaming. I said, that's what this game's about, mate. We just keep dreaming.
So was Stan able to get to the races on Friday?
Yeah. He was over the moon. Like, I was as thrilled for him as I was for Lance Widner. Obviously, like Stanley's never had a horse in a $100,000 race, and because we're real good mates, like I've been having a fair bit of banter with him over the last week. He's never had an alcoholic beverage while he did when he was younger, and he's in his 60s now, and he's a non-drinker full stop. And I said to him, you're going to have a scotch with me if you win this race. And he goes, no, I'm not. I said, my bloody oath, it's a $100,000 race. I said, and thinking, I've got no hope, but that's what part of the fun of this game is, isn't it? And that's what I said to him. Then he said, okay, I will. And then his wife was on him to get a new Land Cruiser Ute or something. And he says, no hope of me getting that. He said, in fact, if I'm up at the bar having a drink, you can order the Ute at the same time. I said to him, geez, surely I can get you to have half a drink. He goes, no, that wasn't the deal. That wasn't the deal.
Well, that's fantastic. Mate, what about the connection and the friendship with Lance Cobban, the owner of the Winner Ticker Lock? How's all that started?
Well, it's funny. Probably through a mate of mine at Albury that Andrew Moore was there, and Lance is from Albury, and obviously Andrew I drove his horses, and he was around with me and went to Perth with me, so probably that started, and Andrew was always one of my biggest fans, and Lance sort of got introduced to me that way. He'd been with a couple of other trainers, but they were sort of getting out of it a little bit, and he started sending his horses up here, and he's virtually been a dream owner for me. And it's a weird one because I say that he's been like the trainer and I've been like the owner. And what I mean with that is the trainer's always making excuses for the horse so they can keep it. And the owner's going, no, I want to sack it. Well, we're the opposite. I come off the track and Lance, I said, that's it. I'm never yoking this thing again. Lance goes, it didn't go that bad, mate. You're right. It didn't go that bad. So that's the relationship we've sort of had all those years. And he's put that much money into the game, and he's 100% purist. He just loves the horses. And I keep telling him he's got too many. But next thing he'll find another one to buy or something like that. But I couldn't be happier, and there's no more deserving person than I know than Lance to win a race like that for sure.
Now, we know you had a celebration after June E. Was the celebration as big on Friday night? No, definitely not. Obviously, a few people suggested, geez, this is going to be a big cello. And I said, no. I said, it's May. January 26th or 7th or whatever it was is not that long ago in my memory, and I still remember the feeling next day. Obviously, I hadn't had one of those feelings for a long time, but I think it took about 5 years the first time after I got crook like that. So, no, I'm real upbeat with you today. I haven't got and you can tell by my voice, it's not slurring at this stage anyway. So yeah, no, I'm good. I'm loving life and living the dream, mate. I guess now you turn your attention to Menangle.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Lance didn't even know this race was on, and I certainly didn't look beyond the other day. We don't dream that far, but yeah, both of them now will go down, which is fantastic. And yeah, like I said, that whatever happens now. But I think with the right run, at least we can be competitive. We won't make fools of ourselves. That's for sure. They're both in a good place. The horses, they've gone super the other day. Tickerlock's just been a consistent horse all the time I've had her, and as you know from our last conversation, I've always loved her. And I have to admit I love her a little bit more now, but certainly, and it was funny because Cameron, obviously, I just kept saying, run first and second, mate. And Cameron said, yeah, she was getting a little tired. He said, I could hear a horse coming. But he said, I could hear your voice yelling. So I said, I knew it was you. So he said, I thought I'm pretty safe if you beat me.
What's this affinity with mares? Like, obviously, Frith is the big one, but these two, both mares, like, what is it?
It's funny you say that because one of my owners sent up a colt here, and I said, oh, geez, I don't take colts. I said, I've got a few gelders, but I don't want any colts. And he said, oh, I'll get a gelded. And I was trying to find a paddock where there was no mares either side. And I said to him, I've got 2 geldings here and 17 fillies. Like, I've got mares were in foal, and I've got two-year-old fillies that I own. And then we had 2 foals last year, and they were both fillies as well. So I think it's a little, I don't know whether I do anything different with them or not, but it just seems that I'm surrounded by fillies at the moment. And I've only got the 5 horses racing, and they're all mares. They're those 5. So, yeah, I don't know. I can certainly say that I'm not a ladies' man, so I don't know where that comes from.
Just having a look at like last year compared to this year. I think last year you're taking a horse to the races, you're averaging about $1,000 per starter. This year, because of these feature wins, I think you're up to like $3,000, just under $3,000 a starter every time you take one to the races. You mentioned how good this series is. To bank over $70,000 for the stable the other night.
Yep.
Amazing. Just a forethinking, the forethought from Harness Racing New South Wales to do this has been fantastic.
Oh, as I said, John Dumacy messaged, congratulated me the other night, and I messaged him back what an initiative it's been. Just due to that thing that we all can dream of a big race winner. It doesn't matter who you are and how much money you put into the game. It's not super hard to get one into these finals, and to race for that prize money, like $54,000 the winner. Like we're getting $3,000 to $5,000 to win a normal race, and you win one of them. And I said to Stanley Evans, he's got $17,000 for second. I said, can you believe that? $17,000. I think probably the Breeders' Plate could be $18,000 the winner. But there's no other race in the Riverina that's got that sort of prize money. I said, and you run second and picked up 17, and that horse won 14 last year, and she's already won 35 this year or something now. So, I just can't speak highly enough of this series because, like I said, we get overawed by the Emma Stewarts and the Perns and the big stables, the Luke McCarthy's and that now, and we think we can't be competitive with them. But we can be competitive in our own area with our own horses. So yeah, it's the greatest thing that I've seen. And I said that to John Domerson, and I said that was before I won it. I thought that. So obviously, I think it a little even bit more now because that was the biggest amount of money that I've won in one race too, in that race as well. So. I just can't speak highly enough, and it goes 9 times out of 10. It's going to go to the right people, the money too, because it's in the local area. So, and your whole family's there. Like I had a new granddaughter a week ago, Zalia, and she was out on the track for a presentation. I joked with Diane Kelly. Both my girls used to go out for presentations quite regularly before they were 5. If they didn't go out, they thought there was something wrong when they went to the trot. So here's Zalia, a week old, and she's come out for a presentation to a $100,000 race. So, yeah, no, it was super. The family and as I said, you can tell I'm still buzzing on. But you love the game and you put your heart and soul into it, and when you get a result like this, it makes it all worthwhile.
Well, mate, you have a look. It's you in the Riverina. It's Nathan and Jet Turnbull over there at Bathurst winning the Bathurst series, and then you've got Jared Hetherington and Chloe Formosa winning the Hunter. Like it's good people, you know what I mean? It's what harness racing is all about. It is fantastic, mate. I always enjoy catching up.
Yeah, as I said, the harness racing have always been a tight knit community, and it's not a thoroughbred industry. It's the down to roots, down to solid, strong people that try their best and are happy for people to have success and wish everyone the best, and that's what I mean. That's what makes this so great.
It does, mate. Mate, thank you so much for joining me. As I said, always love catching up with you, especially after a big win, and look forward to seeing you in Sydney.
No worries. Appreciate it, Greg. Thanks, mate.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning. Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was
with legitness.
To that I say, all right.
Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner. Just like that.
And the winner is...
Well, Mr. T found Aurora Mighty Rob last week. It paid $3.60. I found Raka Deeks and it paid $1.40. So the leaderboard has Mr. T at positive $13.40 for the season, which is autumn, and I'm negative 68, so I need to swing for the fences. We don't have long left in autumn until winter is here. So Mr. T has 2 at Bathurst on Wednesday. Race 4, number 1. He's chiming, a $10,000 claimer for Lester Hewitt and John O'Shea. Was a winner 2 starts ago and then down the track last start. Big help as the barrier draw and does look right in this race from the good gate. So that's race 4, number 1, He's Chiming at Bathurst. And race 5, number 4, Zambia. Dean Atkinson making the trip to Bathurst on Wednesday with Will Rickson to do the driving. Bumps into a number of Steve Turnbull trained horses. Finished down the track first up from a break, but Mr. T is expecting a quick turnaround in that form. So race 5, number 4, Zambia. My 2, looking for longer odds with my first one this week. Race 5, number 2, Caribbean Runner for Trev Monday and Chris Geary. Liked the way it hit the line last start. Finished 4th, came from well back, was given every chance, no excuses, but from the better draw can be a little bit closer this week. Racing similar company and looking for a big result to reel Mr. T in. So that's Menangle Tuesday, race 5, number 2, Caribbean Runner, and then go to race 7, number 9, Montefiore. Tipped it last week and just left a sitting shot. Draws wider this week, so we'll have to be a little bit more patient. The horse is racing well enough to be winning a race like this. I reckon it'll be right in the finish. So that is race 7, number 9, Montefiore. Round 16 of fantasy harness racing is in the books. Manning 90 has set up a huge lead in the scheme of things. 11,890 points, 105 points in front of Boilover, and Larry and Harry are a further 84 points back on 11,701. So Manning 90 has opened right up. Looks extremely tough to run down, and we've still got a number of weeks to go in fantasy harness racing. I'm nearly queuing the rack type stuff. I'm 161st, can't pick my feet up. Round 16 was won by Sir Jimmy's All-Stars with 795. Burnburrow on 792 and Chock Wedge on 789. Melton is the big meeting in round 17 with the APG final, so set your drivers accordingly and good luck. That just about wraps up the podcast this week. 3 guests means a little bit longer than normal, but I thought it was important to talk to 3 of the 4 regional winners. Thought I'd give the Hewitts the weekend off after I spoke with Brad last week while he was over in Sweden. And of course, next Sunday, I'll be concentrating on the state championship final, which will be run at Menangle next Saturday night. Hope you have a great week. Enjoy the harness racing, and bye for now.